All right, so I should have done this one on my first video, but I was assuming that everyone had an interface and they understand how to connect it. So I'm gonna just backtrack and go ahead and introduce an audio device. This is the Steinberg UR12, and it has 2 input, 1 output. So let's look at the case itself, and let's look at the back, and then we'll take it. On the back we have the 5 volt DC power, which is going to be powered like with a plug. So if you have a connection that goes to that and that goes to the wall, then you can use that as a power source. You can also use USB 2.0 as a power source. Now this little switch here will go back and forth between the power sources. If you're using USB, you switch it to this side. If you're using the DC power, you switch it to that side. I just use the USB power because it stays on anyway, even if you use the power, because it's connected to USB and it's getting power anyway, and that little light will stay on anyway. So the line input going to be 2 RCA jacks, red and white, for your speaker output. And this 48 plus 48 volt is the phantom power. You can switch that on and off. I usually just leave that on because I never know when I'm gonna connect and I don't want to have to remember, so I just leave it on. So also on the top of it, it has the different labels on it. So the 5 volt DC power source, USB 2.0, and your line output 48 volt phantom power. Okay, now let's move to the front. So as you can see, it's the UR12. This is the volume control for the main input, which is an XLR jack. And this is going to be the peak or the clipping signal for that input 1. And also the 48 volt phantom power will light up when it's being used. That's only for XLR. For the input 2, it's a high Z input, a 1/4 inch jack input, and this is the peak level for that. Once you hit that, you just want to make sure you turn it below where the light's not coming on at all. That's for both of those. So this is the volume control for input 2. This is the overall output control right here, all the way there. The direct monitor is if you want to listen directly to the input with your headphones instead of just the output. You can listen to the input and the output as well. This phone jack is a 1/4 inch phono jack that you can use for headphones or whatever. And so that's really all of it is right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect it and show you guys how it works. All right, so when you open up Cubase, this is what you're presented with. So the default location, this is like I was telling you in the other video, this is what would throw me off a little bit when I first started. So what you can do is when you click on that, it will give you the location where you want to save it. So this is my file folder, audio engineering. So I'll go ahead and select the folder. The project folder name is going to be audio interface setup. And like I said, go ahead and copy that. Go ahead, create empty. And I first off save as that file name that I had before, audio interface setup. So we're gonna have to save that. Now, what we're gonna do is we have to connect our audio interface. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. And so the lights are on, everything's good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and go up to Studio, and then we're gonna go to Studio Setup. Now mine is, actually it's not. So what you wanna do is you'll click on Audio System here. So there's nothing loaded. It shows no driver. Not sure why it shows that. Maybe, I don't know, because I disconnected it or whatever. So you hit this little drop down, go to the Yamaha Steinberg USB ASIO driver. So that's my Steinberg UR12 audio interface. Go ahead and select that. And it'll ask you if you want to switch. Go ahead and switch. Right, so you've got the audio system selected. So let's take a look at the control panel, but you have to set your sample rate. I'm not sure what it is default, but what you want to set it at is 44.1 kilohertz under the Steinberg UR12 tab. On the ASIO tab, same thing, 41.4 kilohertz. And that's all you need there. Go ahead and select OK. And down here, if you look and you see the inputs on input 1 and input 2, that's my UR12, input 1, input 2. My out, which is going to be my headphone jack, or my external speakers that are connected to the RCA jacks on the back that we showed you before. So that's going to be output left, output right. What you want to make sure is that you have it checked as visible and that it shows active. If it shows inactive, you're either not going to get input or you're not going to get output. So that's all correct there. Go ahead and select that. Okay. So now we want to go back to Studio, go to Audio Connections. So now your input is going to be a stereo in, that's default. So what you want to do is select this drop down here and select your Yamaha Steinberg USB ASIO device. So go ahead and select that, and then it'll put your UR12 input 1 and 2. So that means you can use your XLR jack or the 1/4 inch jack. And if you do it this way, one side is going to be reading and the other side is not, because it's going to be mono unless you connect both microphones, which is kind of redundant. So you don't really need that. So what I do is on my inputs, I have different inputs so that you get that mono signal instead of a stereo signal with just one channel. So mobile audio mic input 1 only. So let's select that one. So that selects the input 1 only, so that when you select the track and you put that mic 1 as the input, there's only going to be one side of the meter going, because it's a mono track. So it may be just a personal preference. I don't like to see the one side of the meter going up and down. I like to see it just as a full. So if you have a mono track, you'll see here in a minute what it's going to look like. So outputs, going to have Steinberg also connected. This is stereo out, so it's going to be left and right. It's not going to be a single mono channel, left and right independent channels. So go ahead, close that out. So now I've got a keyboard shortcut to add an audio track or an instrument track. Let's go ahead and enter and create an audio interface. So we go, my shortcut is A for audio, and I'll just name it test. So we've got our bus that's right here. So when you connect a VST instrument, you don't have a choice for a bus except for the device. The bus, the instrument is the device. Your MIDI instrument is your device. So when you add an audio track, which is going to be a microphone or an instrument connected to the inputs of the interface, we're going to be able to select our bus. So we set up our bus with mic 1 only earlier. So let's go ahead and select that as our bus. And we've got it named there. So over here, if you see, you could click there. You've got the bus selected. So if you were to start recording, whatever you have connected to input 1 is what's going to record. Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. So now you'll see that we've got the mic connected to input 1. I can turn up the volume louder and louder if I need to. But you can see here, let's go ahead and close this out here and open up. All right, they're showing that zone at the bottom. So you can see that you're getting input right here because of the levels that's jumping there. It's very low because of the setup that I have here, but there is the master volume. So I'm getting volume from there. All right, so it looks like we've got it set here. So now to record your first track, what you would do, you've got it set up already. You need to set it up for recording. So you record enable it here, record enable there. Down here on your transport keys, this is going to be record. This is play. This is stop. This is the activate cycle, which we'll talk about in another video. And this is go to markers, which we'll talk about in another video also. So just a simple record. This is all we're going to do here. And let's go ahead and do it. And I'll just show you. You won't be able to hear it, but I'll show you that you are getting media readings and you're getting the waveform. So I'll go ahead and start recording. And it had the metronome on, so it took a second to start. But check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check. You see the waveforms there forming. So let me go ahead and that is as loud as it goes. So check. We'll probably be clipping. No, I don't think so. We're doing all right. So if I turn it down, you'll see the level meter goes down as well. So it's not getting as much signal in. As I turn it back up, it goes back up again. And you can see the waveform does start to appear again. So that is how to set up a track. And we'll have another video later on for you to complete that. Appreciate you guys listening. Thanks a lot. Hope it helps. Hope it helps along the way. Other things that I do as well. Appreciate it. Let me know what you want to hear, what you want to see.